going on.
I'm
And
here for you. Don't worry about that part. I got a hard stop at 6:59, which is 56 minutes, but we'll stay on this whole time. I think we'll run out of questions and just make friends more.
all right, that's what's up. I appreciate that. Well, for those who don't know, introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are, what you do, what you're about, and where we going with this at cost metals thing.
To the moon.
That's what's up. I
So,
like that.
my name is Justin Davis. Pleasure to make your acquaintance and see your faces on here. Thank you so much for the invite, you guys.
You're welcome.
I love talking about metals. I love talking about at cost metals specifically. This has been at the forefront of my entire career is precious metals, software development. And, um, it's, I get excited about it. I know it might not have the most sizzle, like uh, curing cancer stuff and all the other MLMs, but, there's a reason why we chose our compensation plan the way that we did it. There's a reason why we set up the rules and the price points. There's a reason why we sell precious metals and not vitamins. And it checks all the boxes for me personally. So I have a little bit of advantage because I've probably been thinking about it more frequently and longer than most people. So um, I could talk about whatever you like. I could talk about why it's better to collect metal than any old pill potion lotion. I'm sure you've heard that before. Not that I'm dogging it, but
Yeah.
a lot of people do networking, a lot of people do MLM, and they end up throwing stuff away.
Hmm.
They can't sell it without the hype. The product doesn't necessarily stand on its own. Um, Ours does. I mean, the gold just took over the number one asset in the world ahead
Right.
of the US dollar. So if you started collecting us with us, when I did it, gold was 280 an ounce,
Hmm.
$280 an ounce. So
Man,
it can fluctuate that much in a day nowadays.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
so
took off.
it definitely did. And the path. I like crypto. I like gold and silver. I like tangible assets. I like time freedom. I like just being knowledgeable, so you don't have to feel lost or confused. All of
Right.
that is very important to me personally.
Hmm.
So I try to mold at cost metals into something that is first and foremost fair to the customer, regardless if you tell anybody or not. Does it make sense to buy from at cost? Absolutely. I think that's
Hold
probably the
on, let
most
me mute
important
some
thing.
mics.
That's okay. Let's see who it was. It's okay. Um,
Right.
I think that's the most important thing. It's got to make sense for the customers because if you don't have real bona fide customers, you're already just adrift in the sea, and it's a bunch of networkers staring at each other, asking now what. So we literally have customers just begging to come in, right? Which is a good thing. Um, I can stop that portion of the conversation and circle back to that in a minute because I think what I'll tell you guys in just a minute, plus what I'm going to announce on the call today, after Antoine does his portion, will be a true game changer. And I hate
Mm,
sounding so superlative, like this is the greatest thing since sliced gold, but
right.
I really do think that this is, and this may even be what we're talking, what instigated this call. I told Ricardo a little bit. Ricardo, did you happen to share anything?
No, I left that. I wanted to leave that for you to give that phenomenal
Okay.
news. So yeah.
No, he didn't
Okay.
say a thing. He hinted around a lot, but he ain't say
Okay.
nothing. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Well,
wait.
I'm about to tell everybody. It wasn't really a secret, but I got enough people that said yes, emphatically yes, absolutely, 100%, no questions asked. Let's do it right now. How fast can you get that up? Uh, I got enough of those in a row without a single negative to know that this is the right thing to do.
Okay.
So I'll skip ahead to that part rather than keep everybody in suspense. That's silly. Um, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was looking at the database and I was looking at the number of people that were coming to our site, plugging in their information, yet they were stopping short of actually getting the membership. So they said, "Oh, that looks cool," and then put their information in, and then it says, "Okay, which membership do you want?" And that's where they stopped. So to me, that was a problem because it was, maybe a little more than half of the people were coming in, putting their information in, but that was the end of it.
Mm.
So we just became email buddies, and ultimately we'd probably get an unsubscribe out of it. So the idea is keep the membership. Everything with the membership is exactly the same, but let's also cater to those that want to purchase precious metals, maybe do a little order, see if they get it on time, what the process looks like. And once they get their metal, they'll see, okay, that membership makes sense. So what we're going to do is actually have member price and non-member price, both on the
Oh,
website. So,
okay.
someone like you get a lot of traffic, a lot of people, these may have been your people where you market to them and you're just trying to show the best place to get precious metals. And they're like, oh, it's a membership. I don't want to do that. I just want to buy one time. Well,
Mhm.
that would make sense for someone that was purchasing a few $1,000s worth, but maybe not a couple $100s worth.
Okay.
So our objective is to still beat, we'll just call them MJ Bullion because they're my favorite competitor. And that does stand for Michael Jackson Bullion. If you switch those, it might turn into something else. But anyway, I think they're the best company retail wise. And
Okay.
our non-member price will still be at least equal to theirs.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So
so
it's you're
yeah,
like price matching in a way
price
with your
matching, sure.
competitor. Okay.
So as an affiliate, the first question, once you sit and think about it, the first question will be, well, if they're charging more, what's in that for me? So just for round numbers, I guarantee these numbers are not going to be exact, but just hypothetically, let's say that there's a piece of silver, the commission on that is $1, right? So the company has sold a membership. There's a referral. That referral buys metal. Let's just say it's one piece. Let's say the affiliate commission on that piece is $1. For a non-member, that referral that doesn't have a membership, the markup on that might be $5. Whereas the company, because they haven't bought a membership, we're entitled to a piece of that markup. So just for round numbers, let's just say we split it $2.50, $2.50. I already know that's going to change because I've got something else up my sleeve that will really push people to be a gold, to be qualified and ranked as a gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you what that is. So there will be a direct commission, and then there will be a commission for the gold. So we'll just go right up the tree. The first gold through the line of sponsorship, when someone purchases, $10,000 worth of metal, let's say it's a $500 direct commission for that person that made the referral. The first gold through the line of sponsorship might get $250, $300, something like that, where not only is it good to be the one making the referral, but also the gold. So even if you're the first gold, like you specifically, that might be an $850 commission and still
Okay.
be less than the best competitor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is so as you open the door to non-members, it may increase the potential of commissions for your affiliates. And especially if they like referred them. Let's say I did some marketing for you, whatever, and someone saw that and they seen the option. They just wanted to make a one-time purchase, maybe with
Mm-hmm.
gold. They went ahead and they did that. And I guess I use my referral code. I would get
Mm-hmm.
more of a commission. And what if they came back again and said, "Well, I want to join the membership now."
Permanent lifetime referral. They sign up with you, they're always with you.
That's amazing. That
Yep.
sounds good. What took you so long?
So what you're saying is you think that's a good move? You want to
Yeah, I
move
think
forward
that's
with
an
it?
excellent
Okay.
move. It
All
has a
right.
great incentive to keep it. Because I'm gonna tell you now, JD, we're gonna keep it real. I might as well kick off your boots and sit down
Okay.
for a minute because people was kind of getting a little upset about the situation. And the reason why I'm thinking is because, silver got real volatile. It just took off and there was a lot of
Oh yeah.
things going on and people were running out, people were panicking, people, where's my silver? They get my silver, this and that and the other. And they calling me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the things were, they felt that they weren't getting all their silver because Ricardo explained that, well, sometimes you get it from different places. So they're
Mm-hmm.
shipped to different, but that wasn't communicated well. They didn't, if they, if we knew that, they probably wouldn't be complaining about that so much. And then, but they eventually they did get it. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing they were talking about was the customer service. Like they had to, a lot of them didn't know, like it's a bot that you talk to, and then eventually you can, get to someone will get back to them. They didn't understand that. They didn't know the process of that, and it was a little frustrating. So when I was like, you just ask to speak to a human representative, talk to someone, and someone will get back to you. And normally that did take place. Um, what was the other thing that they the shipping time, and it was because with 5 weeks out and things of that nature. So it got to a point I'm like, look, if you don't want to do it, like go, you could get, so find other options because I know, I don't know if you're like a big company or a family company, but I got the impression that it was like family owned and operated, and it's like more hands on with you guys. And I don't think you have a lot. I don't know if you have a lot of people handling everything at once. So I wasn't sure, but I was like, look, I'm an affiliate just like the rest of you. So please address them. Then when I found out that you guys have Zoom calls, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, go to the Zoom calls, maybe you can show up there. And because if you're an affiliate, you're getting an email to the Zoom call, like I'm getting it, right? And you can go join in and maybe ask some questions there. And I did have a couple of people say, do they have a suggestion box? Because they had some ideas that they wanted to maybe share with you about. I don't know, they're not here to really go into it, but basically that was it. The customer service, the communication. One person, I guess they researched you. The people that's gonna look for problems. They're gonna find what
Oh yeah.
this is this a scam? This and that and the other. And I want to share this website with you. And it was like a website from like 3-4 years ago. And it was like, why
Which
is it?
one?
I can't even remember. But the gist of it was, why is it members only? And how come you can't open up to the public? And that's a red flag for me. And da, 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 da. So it was just a lot of bombarding with all these
Yeah.
different things. So I was like, you know what? I want to bring you on, and you can talk to them yourself, and you can let them
Okay.
know, how things go, how things operate, and where things are going from here. So feel free to
All
address
right.
any of that.
Well, let's start at the top.
Yeah.
Actually, nobody in my family works for AdCost,
Oh, okay.
outside of a handful of referrals. They let me handle the gold and silver for them, etc. But they make referrals from time to time. But no, it's not like me and my daughter or whatever uh, trying to run the company. So I've got a partner. His name's Troy. He's in Florida right now. Our headquarters are officially in Texas, but most everything happens in Florida and Tennessee.
Okay.
So we do a little bit of the coin of the month here in Texas, but more often than not, our our metal will ship from California, from Nevada, from Florida, from Tennessee, and then Texas for a little bit of the coin of the month. So no, we are extremely automated, and I'm going to have our guys, our customer support, change what's happening in the bot because, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the bot. I do like the bot for the marketing system that makes
Mm-hmm.
those outbound phone calls. That is very powerful. It's very good, very very good. Our bot is a little bit hit and miss. So we spend I don't know, maybe 20% or 30% of our time correcting what the bot said, where it would be better just to say, do you want a person or do you want to try the bot first?
Right.
So more often than not, the bot is good, but you ask it a kind of an oddball question, it tries to be too helpful and it just causes a little bit of chaos. But here's the main thing, and I'm going to put this at the top of the bot section. If you have a question and the bot doesn't answer it, just say that doesn't answer my question and just leave it alone. You don't have to keep bouncing around the bot. It's not like it's going to close it or humans read that and we see it all.
Yeah.
So sometimes, if
don't fight with the bot.
Don't fight with the robot. It's a no-win situation. It's not even going to care. It's just say, I'm done with your robot and talk to a human, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm nice to AI and Siri and Alexa because one day they're going to take over and hopefully they remember.
Slow down, cowboy. Slow down. Yeah. I mean, you never know the way, technology is going. That's why it's definitely good to learn how to, work within it as opposed to against it. And, a lot of people say, I'm not good at technology, and they lose patience because some people are old school, A lot of my followers are kind of old school. So they like, I don't know about this technology. Where's the phone number?
Right.
So
I'm old school too. I very, very rarely ever buy anything online.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Let me ask you a question about Texas and gold, because you know that they're doing some big things with gold and minting their own coin and storing and things of that nature. So how do you feel AtCost will fit in with this trend, this move that Texas is making when it comes to gold?
I think we fit right in any conversation with gold anywhere. Okay. I think that Texas is not alone. We do have another big vault that is managed by the state. There's I don't even know how many private vaults in Texas, just tons and tons.
I bet.
Yeah, private, underground, wouldn't know it. If you walked right on top of it, you wouldn't have any idea. Ton of those. I am a bigger fan of physical metal. I'm done with COMEX. I'm done with the
paper contracts.
Yeah, the paper gold. Even though Texas is getting its own stock exchange also. Don't know if you knew that. So it'll be the rival to the New York Stock Exchange.
What?
So, yep. We've got space covered. We've got the stock exchange covered. We've got electricity covered. We've got money covered-ish with gold and silver. So, one more excuse and we're out of here.
Right.
One more bad excuse.
I get what you're saying. Do you ever think that you'll be able, you'll be interested in merging with a company to that may have a digital asset that needs to be backed with silver and gold? Would you entertain that at all?
I like being entertained for sure. There's a lot that goes into that. The most important is the people that you work with, the company that you keep.
Yeah.
That's paramount. I've got a ton of friends that do very well with crypto, start their own crypto projects and have a blast with it. And a lot of times I work hand in hand with them, just for peace of mind and making sure that friends and the community that I work with inside of AtCost Metals and even outside of AtCost Metals, that everything is up and up and clean and straightforward. There was one project that is technically still going. I don't want to name them specifically, but a lot of momentum and a lot of poor management decisions. And this is I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that's a disaster on so many levels, not only for the company, but for the people that were pushing it, but the people that got pushed. And it's it's a horrible situation. But yeah, digital assets meaning crypto. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love crypto.
Well, meaning, I guess what I was saying, let's say, with Texas is moving in pure independence pretty much and sovereignty and things of that nature. So eventually, tokenization and things of that may be on the table. But the thing about crypto, I don't personally want it to be like the dollar, where it's kind of like backed by nothing. It's fiat, where it was backed by a gold standard. So if we're going to move to a cryptocurrency, it would be great to have a currency that's backed by a precious metal. So
Yeah.
that conversation, I don't know if that's been
That
had in
that
certain
is
circles.
exactly the future, and that what you just stated, I think, is probably the most important question regarding money, crypto, gold and silver, fiat. It's that because the fiat system that we've been on since we went off the gold standard, and really since 1913, has failed. The math doesn't work. The only way that the math works is you just arbitrarily raise the price of everything. Well, the problem is people save their whole life, and a month's worth of paycheck is just now a tank of gas. From 50 years ago, a month's worth of side income or a hard day's work is not even a tank of gas, and it's not supposed to be like that. There's a lot of conversation in Texas specifically, much like Florida and a few other states, doing away with, we don't have income tax here, but capital gains, even property taxes, I would love to see us move to a flat tax. You buy it, there's a tax. If you don't buy it, there's no tax. You're broke. Okay, don't buy anything, no problem. Or you want to buy that jet? Okay, guess what? There's a tax on it. No more than a stick of gum, but there's a tax. Okay, so that just really evens the playing field, and we can skip the whole, paying their fair share and all the loopholes. And doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, there's loopholes. If you're rich, you use them. If you don't, you just get left behind. So, there's a lot going on. Central bank digital currencies jumped the gun, and their presentation was horrible. I'm not a fan of them, but I'm glad that they jumped the gun, and I'm glad everyone was like, no, that doesn't sound good at all. If they had said, hey, look, are you tired of going to the bank? Are you tired of having to pay cash? Do you want to know who took your money, or do you need to know who you owe? Do you want it to be really easy? Would you like to get your government benefits on your phone instantly? Would you rather skip all that? Because we can do that for you. If they had said something like that, that would have been probably more, I don't want to give them any ideas, but it probably would have been a little more tolerable.
Right.
Because
Than
the
what
truth
they
is,
said.
yeah, if you owe the government money, then you just don't get to spend any of your money. Or if you travel too far during COVID like situation, they prevent you to buy gas. Or you like meat, but they decide you have bought too much meat, they restrict that sale to you. And that sounds like fantasy, that sounds insane, but it was proposed since day one.
Wow.
With central bank digital currencies. If you don't comply, like the truckers in Canada a few years ago, they said this doesn't work. What they do? They took their savings. They just took their savings. There was a GoFundMe. Ricardo, you can jump in on this part. I don't remember the amount, but it was something like 80 million. A GoFundMe for they froze all the accounts. So somebody set up a GoFundMe for the truckers, so that people could buy food and dog food and bring them water and stuff, because it just turned into gridlock. So not only did they close their accounts, but they also took the money inside the GoFundMe.
Yep.
Well, guess what? If it was gold, they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it's digital currency and fiat digital currency, even worse. You're at the complete mercy of whatever government, whatever country you're in.
Yeah.
So not a fan. And
of centralized, you mean if it was centralized crypto? Correct.
Well, a central bank
Central
digital
bank.
currency. So literally,
Okay.
hypothetically, but literally the US dollar
Mm-hmm.
as a
That's it.
digital currency.
Oh,
We're not
right.
we're not that far from it, right? But as of right now, the government can't say we're taking all your Bank of America funds because you've traveled during COVID, as an example.
It will
Some
be
countries they
blood
did
in
that.
the streets, honey. You
Yeah.
know, folks will
Some
be.
countries did that. So,
Whew.
I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said if you let someone control all the money, I don't care who makes the rules. It doesn't matter. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you don't have access to your money, I think it would take 2 days for, just absolute end of the
Mayhem.
world if banking went down, EMP, that's the real threat, something like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be complete mayhem. So, I tell when we hear things like Cuba, right? Cuba went dark and all of these different things. And I always said, and I'm gonna still say this, if you lock out people from their money on this side of the world, it's a little different. It's a little different. The people, the beings on this side of the world, when it comes to whatever little bit of change they have, I think it's going to be a big surprise to the governments or the powers that be how the people are going to react to
Yeah.
that. I don't think there's going to be patience and things of that nature because folks
That's what we
in
call
this side of the
an
world pack.
yes.
I'm just saying.
That's what we call an on-site situation.
Yeah, honey, it'd be definitely an on-site situation. What was you going to say,
Yeah.
Ricardo? You wanted to tap in?
No, I was just confirming what JD was saying. That's what. And this time you want to have options. You really want to have options. You want to stay aware of what's going on. And I obviously love the idea of setting At Cost Metals up to be one of the premier companies that's dealing with precious metals. I mean, where the economy is, and we kind of mentioned AI and different things and jobs, and the affiliate model is where everything is going. I tell people all the time, if you're relying on one stream of income, you're a disaster waiting to happen. And
Hmm.
the average millionaire has at least 7 streams of income. So if you can have a legitimate home-based business where your product is God's money, it's an
Right,
asset, one of the most significant time periods ever in history. And then you have a platform like At Cost Metals that's allowing you to get it at cost, or even for people who don't get the membership at competitive prices to major dealers. I mean, it's a
right.
no-brainer. It's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Thanks,
That's a
Ricardo.
major thing. And I'm glad that you sharing that information with us. So people will, who when they go back and hear this and even go to your live stream will see that, yeah, this is growing. This is more than just, a private membership company. Now it's opening up its doors, which means it will open up more revenue streams for you as well. And
Hmm.
it'll help you to acquire more gold and silver as well without you always having to go in your pocket to go through your budget or things of that nature. Now you've created another stream for yourself that you can acquire physical assets at a discount price pretty much than where you may be able to get it from somewhere else. And now that a lot of the kinks you're working out and the things that you're working out with your team and you're starting to develop this new stream, I think it's a great opportunity. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's changed my
Let
mind,
me,
honey. Because I'm
let,
telling you, I was about to say, listen, I don't know about
oh
this.
no. Yeah, I recognize the take your shoes off, get comfortable. We're going to be here for a minute. I recognize that. So here's my objective. You guys may have heard me say this before, but this is the reality of it. Someone, MahMah Tea, can sign up on your link. Okay, you don't necessarily know when they do that. You don't talk to all the people that you refer. Ricardo, you don't talk to all the people that you refer. You know after the fact.
Right.
So you guys could say, talk about central banks. You could talk about, Texas, you know, revolution of the succession. Um, make a video about gold and silver. Someone go sign up, use your link, fund their account, Sign up for coin of the month. Don't sign up for coin of the month. Buy $50,000 worth of metal or $500,000 worth of metal through the membership currently, and they pay when they're funded. We pay our supplier at the time of the order in real time. Our supplier ships it out. Typically, it's in stock. The world goes nuts. Everybody decides we're either at war or we're broke or we're changing our financial system. The whole world did that at the same time. It was one of those three. And the supplier ship it out. We get the tracking number. We send the tracking number. All the metals are aggregated to the at cost metals account. So when our suppliers say, "Oh, that's an at cost metals member," it might have only been $500, but we need to take care of those guys because at cost sends us a ton of business. So we get that pricing. The customers come here for that pricing, and the affiliates still get paid. Okay. When they get that, they open the box, they look at it. It's exactly what they wanted. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. It was tracked, it was insured. That whole process, everything that I've just explained, outside of the videos and monitoring a wire or something, happens without any human interaction at all. Once you guys post that video, effectively you're done. And once we make sure all the wires are sent, because the ACHs and all that, that's all automatic. That's how automated we are as a company. Now that's is exactly the way that we want it. There's a couple more reports and whatnot for customer service and some administrative things that will make our lives a little bit easier. Once all that's done, we push forward with this member and non-member pricing. So what that looks like, you post that same video, but now instead of that person walking away because they're like, I don't want a membership, they're like, well, there's member price, there's non-member price, what's everyone else's price? So they'll legitimately go look, do the price comparison. And they might not get that membership, but they won't just leave. They'll still be here, and they'll always be tied to you. So what that'll do is it'll increase the number of memberships, because if I say, Ricardo, I'll give you this for $5 if you buy a membership, and I'll give you this for $10 if you don't buy a membership, and you say, okay, how much is the membership? If I say $4 for the membership, which will always enable you to buy it for $5 instead of 10, you'll buy it. That'll cost you $4 extra on that first one, but it's still less than that first sale. And everyone will come to that realization. It won't take it. Everybody's familiar with Costco. Everybody's familiar with saving money. Right. The day you pay your own phone bill and car insurance and rent, you become an expert, right? So member price, non-member price, compare us to everywhere else. I can't go on there and say, go compare us to XYZ. It's not fair. They got a different model, and I don't enjoy getting sued. Now we'll tell people to go compare. Do your own research. Look at all of our happy customers. Even, I'm just throwing this out there, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be very wrong.
What you got?
The person that was the most upset with getting half of an order and then a couple of days later getting the other half, or someone that the first person, you don't have to say their name, the first person that comes to mind that was the most upset, did they end up getting all their stuff?
I think so. Yeah, okay. I think they did.
And were they glad when they got it?
Yeah, they glad when they got it.
And they saved money.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it literally took the entire world saying, I want JD's product more than the next guy. The price went up and everybody started buying it. The whole world, governments, banks, big companies. It was nonstop for a month.
Yeah.
So now the price went up. A lot of people that had been sitting on that silver for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 120 looks like a really good selling spot when you bought it for $5, $6, $7. right? 120 was a good spot. So a lot of people sold that physical metal. It went into the refinery. They melted it, making more silver eagles, making more 10-ounce bars, trying to keep up with Ricardo's 100-ounce bars like he does. That's a tall order right there.
Yeah.
So bottom line is, if you place an order, 100% you're going to get it for almost 2 years. It was same day. You send a wire that day, we try to get your stuff out the door that day. That's the way we like to operate. It takes the whole world going haywire for it not to work like that.
And the world went haywire. It did.
Yes, it did.
It really did. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you breaking all of that down and spending some time with us. So we're going to open up the floor right now. Those of you who are in the chat, you have any questions for Mr. JD at Cost Metals, just unmute your microphone and hop right on in. All right. Or raise your hand, however you want to do it. Now, look now. Don't come in here and y'all be quiet as church mouses now. Y'all need to come on in.
I did tell them we're going to run out of questions, but go for it, guys. Don't be shy. We're here.
Come on now. This is it. This is the time.
It doesn't necessarily have to be about at cost. If you just want to talk about whatever you think is happening, or suggestion box, if that person's on here, we're all ears.
I don't see her on here, but I see Linda. You unmuted your mic. Do you have a question?
No, I had a concern. Not even a concern. I was one of the individuals when I received my order and the other materials was not in it. And like you were saying, they are correcting that when the whole order is not shipped together. Send someone an email or something to let them know it's coming. But like you reassured me, it's coming, and it did come. So I'm very excited with it, and that was my first time actually touching silver coins that I remember, that I can recall.
Wow! Look at that.
Now my father, he was a collector of all kind of coins, different precious metals and crystals and all of this kind of things. But as for me holding silver and gold backs in my hand, felt real good. But I want to thank you for the platform that you have and moving forward at Cost Metals.
Awesome.
You got my business.
All right, Chis. All right.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Linda.
That's all I got.
Thank
all
you,
right, Linda, let me ask you, how do you feel about the new opportunities that JD just shared with us about what's going to be happening with that cost?
I think it's wonderful. The people that has a membership get a discount than the ones that don't. And like he was saying, they still can buy, but it would be a little bit higher and they won't be turned away. That's an excellent solution.
And locked in for life.
Locked
into that affiliate for life.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So when you refer family and friends, and sometimes some people do get intimidated by the membership, like, oh, that, but now they can just go ahead and get a taste of it, and they can, tap in, put their little pinky toe in the water and see, if they like the temperature, and then they will come back and they'll see the quality that they receive. And this is your referral. So they may tell someone and tell someone. So I think this is a great opportunity. I'm glad that you opened that up, because I think that was one of the main things about the membership. It was when you noticed that people would sign in, but they wouldn't buy anything, because times is a little tight around here, right? And so, do I spend it on this, or do I take this and add this to go somewhere else to get some silver, or gold, whatever the case may be. So I think that was a great move.
So now we're kind of like a hybrid of Sam's Club, because you got to be a member.
Okay.
But very often they've got Sam's Club right next door to Walmart. So take your pick. You want to shop at Walmart, you want to shop at Sam's Club. You got to be a member, Costco, Sam's Club. You get that pricing. I always say, 50 pounds of chicken nuggets, right? Sounds good. But that doesn't always make sense. Sometimes you just need to run in and get some ketchup, right?
Right.
So,
Indeed.
yes.
What else y'all got? Anybody else? Anyone else has any questions? This is the time now. Open up, unmute your mic. Come on in. And if you want to have any, any questions about silver or gold in general, I see. Don't act shy. I'm gonna start calling y'all out. Sandy, come on.
Michelle, thank you for your comment in the chat, by the way. I appreciate it. That's good. It's good to
Yeah.
know everything went smoothly.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right, guys. Well, if you don't have any other questions, we're going to wrap this thing on up. And once again, you have a call tonight again at 7 on
17 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
17 minutes. So if you want to go and what was that? That was a little sound like a jackpot.
If you log into your at Cost Metals dashboard, scroll over or down or whatever device you're on, look for the Our Resources page. It's relatively new. Down at the bottom, it's a permanent link. So you don't have to necessarily get the email. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, 7 Central, that link is there permanently in the back office. Just push that button and it connects you right into the Zoom. That's how I do it.
There you go. There you go. There you have it, guys. All right. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Let's do this again. This doesn't have to be a one-time deal. Invite me on the show. I see the professional.
Oh, you like it over here, huh?
I see the professional microphone. I don't have one, so you gotta.
Come on, JD.
I gotta get my cred from you.
Yeah, come on now. You gotta step your game up.
All right.
But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think this is a great thing. I'll be sharing more of this information. I'll continue to share everything I know about at Cost Metals because now I think this is a good thing, especially in these times, and just giving more education about these precious metals and what's going on in Texas. And I want to learn more about what's going on in Florida too, because I see some things going on along the Gulf Coast and may change the landscape of America. So we're gonna see. There's a lot of things going on. I have my ears to the streets, honey.
All right. Well, join us for part 2, everybody.
All right now. All right. So thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I will be playing this in the God's Money YouTube channel. So make sure you go and check that out. And until then, everyone have a wonderful evening. And thank you once again. And Mr. Ricardo, I'm gonna holler at you later. Okay, sir?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Together, guys. Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. You're welcome.